Have you ever wondered what really makes someone a great leader? I mean, is it just their personality, their smarts, or is it something else? For the better part of a century, this is the exact puzzle that people have been trying to solve. So let's dive right into this journey and see if we can piece it all together. And this is the question that started it all, way back in the 1930s. It's the classic nature versus nurture debate. And at first, the answer seemed pretty simple, pretty intuitive. Leaders are just born different.
So that's our first stop on this journey, the whole idea of the born leader. It kicked off this massive hunt for those heroic, almost mythical qualities that just set some people apart from everyone else.
Now, researchers gave this hunt an official name, trait theory. And the goal was basically to create the ultimate leadership checklist. The thinking was, if we could just nail down the essential traits, things like intelligence, self-confidence, all that good stuff, we could literally identify who was destined to lead. It was like a search for leadership DNA.
But yeah, there was a pretty big problem. It turned out to be a total dead end. No two researchers could agree on the same list of traits. One study would say one thing, the next would say something completely different. And even when they did agree on a trait, it was often way too vague. Like, what does resourcefulness even mean, really? That hero checklist, it just didn't work. So this failure sent everyone back to the drawing board, and it forced them to ask a completely different question. Okay, if leadership isn't about who you are, then maybe, just maybe, it's about what you do. And that simple shift, well, it changed everything. The focus moved from personality to actual behavior.
And once they started looking at behavior, things got really interesting. All the research started to boil down to these two fundamental paths. On one hand, you've got your task-oriented leader. They're all about the work, hitting targets, being efficient, just getting the job done. But on the other hand, you have the relationship-oriented leader. For them, it's all about the people, supporting them, keeping them motivated, helping them grow.
And you can see exactly how those behaviors play out in these two classic styles. The authoritarian leader, that's your quintessential Theory X manager. They hold all the cards, they make all the calls, end of story. Then you have the democratic leader, who's much more of a Theory Y type. They share the power, they bring the team into the decision-making process, and they build a sense of equality. But just when we thought we were closing in on the best style, bam, the biggest twist yet came along and completely changed the game. Because it turns out, there is no single best way to lead. I mean, this was absolutely revolutionary. The idea of a one-size-fits-all leadership model was just thrown right out the window. Suddenly, the most important factor wasn't the leader's style, but the situation they were in. Context became king. Fiedler's contingency model was one of the first real attempts to map this out. It basically said, hey, the right style depends on three things. First, what's your relationship with the team? Do they trust you? Is it a good vibe? Second, look at the task itself. Is it super clear and straightforward, or is it messy and creative? And finally, how much actual power do you have? Can you hand out rewards or enforce rules? The answers to these questions point you to the most effective leadership style for that exact moment. Okay, so we've got the leader and the situation, but the puzzle still wasn't finished. There was another massive piece missing from the board, the group itself. Right? Leadership isn't a solo performance. It's a dynamic between people. It's a conversation. And what's fascinating is that groups kind of have a life of their own. They go through these really predictable stages. They start out in forming. It's like the awkward first day of school where everyone's polite. Then comes storming, which is exactly what it sounds like. Conflict, disagreements. If they can survive that, they get to norming, where they figure out how to cooperate. And finally, they hit performing, that beautiful state of flow where everything just clicks. A great leader knows these stages and knows how to guide their team through each one.
And beyond just the stage they're in, the best teams are all about balance. Belbin's research was huge here, showing that you need a mix of different roles. You absolutely need the creative plant who comes up with wild ideas. But that's useless without the implementer, who can turn those ideas into a concrete plan. You need the meticulous completer finisher checking every detail, and the team worker making sure everyone's getting along. A leader's job isn't just to lead, it's to be a chemist, mixing these roles together to create a powerful team.
And that brings us to the final and maybe the biggest piece of the entire puzzle. It's the thing that's all around us, shaping everything. The leader, the team, the situation. It's that invisible force in the air, the organization's culture. So what is culture?
The best way to think about it is like the personality of a company. It's all the unwritten rules, the inside jokes. It's just the way we do things around here. It's that invisible script you have to learn to really fit in and be effective.
And we can break culture down into 3 levels, kind of like an iceberg. On the surface, you've got the stuff you can see and hear, the logos, the office design, the company stories. Go a level deeper, and you find the stated values, what the company says it believes in, like innovation or integrity. But the real power, the bulk of the iceberg hidden underwater, is the basic assumptions. These are the deep, unconscious beliefs that actually drive how people behave. That's the core.
And this is why culture is such a massive deal. It's not just some fluffy, feel-good concept. A strong, positive culture is a genuine strategic weapon. Think about it. A competitor can copy your product, they can steal your business plan, but they cannot easily replicate your culture. It is a unique, powerful advantage that can drive incredible long-term success.
Which brings us all the way back to where we started. We began by asking what makes a great leader, and we were looking for a hero, for a special set of traits. But after this whole journey, maybe we've been asking the wrong question all along. Maybe true leadership isn't about being the hero in the spotlight. Maybe it's about being an architect, someone who designs and builds an environment, a culture, an ecosystem where everyone else can succeed. So what do you think?